Hello viewers, welcome to UN Autonomous College. Today we can discuss another new concept that is known as Java Server Page, means JSP. Let us focus on that slide. First of all, we can discuss what is the introduction about JSP concept and why to learn that JSP, and what are the different concepts related to architecture of JSP. Then we can learn JSP processing techniques. Then we can learn life cycle of JSP. At last we can learn JSP versus Servlet. That means what are the difference between JSP and Servlet. First of all, discuss about the concept of introduction to JSP concept. First of all, we know what is the real meaning of that JSP. JSP means Java Server Pages, is a server side programming technology which enables the creation of dynamic platform independent method for building website, or we can say that is web based applications. And we know that whenever user want to develop any type of website, we must prefer to take the help of language that is known as hypertext markup language, but we need another language that is known as Java Server Page, which is specifically used for designing server side applications. We know how to develop a static web page, and that type of static web page generally developed with the help of that normal HTML coding. But if a user want to develop any type of dynamic web page, we must to take that the concept of that JSP concept, or we can say Servlet concept. But that JSP concept is so reliable to develop any type of web page, means any type of server side applications in our web technology platform, means web based application. Let us focus on the slide. Next point we can discuss that JSP have access to the entire family of Java APIs, means Java application programming interfaces, which including the JDBC API to access the enterprise databases. And the next most important feature of that JSP, whenever user want to make a link with database, we know that whenever any type of web page is linked with a database, then this kind of applications is known as a dynamic applications, means the client server applications or client server relationship. That means if a user want to provide any type of request from the client side to server side, in that moment we need application that is known as a JDBC. That JDBC applications is also implemented in between your JSP application as well as you can say the HTML application with JDBC, then JSP applications. Three are combined together to make a web page or website very dynamic. That's why we are using that JSP concept. Now we can learn what are the different essential features in JSP. Due to that features, why we are learning that concept of JSP. Let us focus on the slide. We know that the JSP often serve the same purpose as programs implemented using the common gateway interface, that means the CGI applications. But the JSP offers several advantages in comparison to the, that means that in comparison with the CGI. What are the different advantages related to JSP applications, means the performance. We know that whenever user want to develop any type of web page, means with the adding of dynamic elements in that web page should be more interactive, and due to that interactiveness user want to use it for each and every moment. That's why we never prefer any type of CGI application to develop this kind of dynamic application. Next we can learn the JSP are always compiled before they are processed by the server. That's why CGI application means common gateway interface application, Perl application are not preferred to develop any type of server side applications. They are generally related to some scripting based applications. That's why you need to learn that JSP. With the implement of that JSP, we can develop lots of dynamic features in our program, and in that program also we can add some extra features like Java relevant, means JavaScript relevant features, and some other scripting based, maybe you can also add some VB script based applications in our JSP also. And but most important term is just related to this topic. Whenever you want to create any type of JSP page, you must add an extension that is known as .jsp. If a user want to create any type of web page, they can also give the .html. If you want to develop any type of JSP page, then you can give .jsp. If you want to develop any type of Servlet page, but in that time also you can give the .java. But that Java application must be executed through that server, and its consequence must be displayed on your web browser. Next we can learn what are the different points we are learning in that JSP. The JSP page specifically used to combine with different type of Servlet applications. With the help of that Servlet applications means business logic, some modules related to that Servlet template. With the help of that template we can develop any type of interactive or business logic based platform. With the help of that logic we can easily make a relationship between the client to server, and through that template we can forward a request from the client side to server side. That's why we prefer any type of Servlet templates which are also suitable in our JSP pages. Finally, the JSP is an integral part of Java Enterprise Edition, means that is written as Java EE and Enterprise Edition, which is a complete platform for enterprise class applications. This means the JSP can play a part of the simplest applications to the most complex and demanding situation. We know that if a user want to develop a more interactive business logic based platform, that means just we can discuss an example of your Home Sub 18 website, and otherwise you can say our Flipkart, Amazon. This kind of professional means business site oriented sites are specially developed through this kind of applications. That's why it is known as a business logic based applications. Due to that applications also we can learn this type of applications are related to our Enterprise Edition. That's why it is related to Java EE, means Enterprise Edition. Next we can learn topic that is known as architecture of JSP. In a previous slide generally we can discuss the related terms which are specially make more motivated to learn that JSP concept, and that JSP concept also provides lots of advantages than your Servlet and other server side applications. But your architecture of JSP specially preferred to develop a dynamic and more user professional website. Through that website we can easily transmit or easily send our queries from client side to server side. First of all, we can focus on the first point. The web server needs a JSP engine. With the help of that engine we have a container which can process our JSP pages, and similarly the JSP container is responsible for intercepting requests for JSP pages. Actually it is on related to our JSP engine. With the help of that JSP engine to process our some stored and the whole features of our JSP tags or JSP engine relevant concepts, or you can say JSP elements which are specially executed in our Java engine. That means that engine generally supports to our Java server page applications. Next we can learn a JSP container works with web server to provide the runtime environment, and other services like a JSP needs also to know how to understand some special elements that are processing part of that JSP. Generally if we focus on our JSP architecture, in that architecture we have two base applications like our client based and web server based application. In that client and web server based application must be linked through a specific type of technology that is known as internet. That means if a user want to make that application more dynamic and more effective, in that time user must to host their site in your server side application, and whenever your website is hosted in our server side, then we can getting lots of benefit features in a specific dynamic manner. Next we can learn what are the different JSP relevant processing techniques are implemented in our Java server page. We know that whenever user want to create any type of web pages using that JSP, we must prefer a normal type of protocol. That protocol special helps to process our request. That protocol known as HTTP protocol, means Hypertext Transfer Protocol, which is written in our slide. With the help of that protocol we are generally forward our queries from the client side to server side. Similarly the server side also provides some response from that server side application to our client side application, which is easily created and easily make an effective way of communication with the client and server. Next we can learn point like the web server especially recognizes that the HTTP request is for a JSP page and forwards it to a JSP engine, and this is done by using the URL, means uniform resource locator, or JSP page which ends with .jsp instead of HTML page. Already we can discuss in the previous slide, whenever user want to create any type of web page, means JSP related web page, in that moment we must to create that JSP page with a specific type of extension, means that is known as .jsp instead of that .html, and that .html extension specially used for creating a normal HTML web page, means your static web page. But if you want to create any type of dynamic web page, in that moment we must prefer to save .jsp extension in our file. Next, the JSP engine loads the JSP page from disk and converts it into a servlet content. This conversion is very simple, in which all template text is converted to println statement. We know that whenever user want to process their JSP page, in that moment that JSP page is interpreted or executed by your server engine. In that moment a JSP page by default converted to, that is known as your servlet page. Due to that conversation, we are generally getting an environment, getting an very effective features. Through that feature we can make an effective communication with your JSP to servlet. We know that in our server side application, servlet is the most important features in your communication process. Okay. Next we can learn what are the real process of compilation. The JSP engine compiles the servlet into an executable class and forwards the original request to the servlet engine. We know that whenever a JSP page is specifically executed, in that moment your JSP page is automatically forwarded to your JSP engine. Through that engine can be converted to your servlet file, then that servlet file is also forwarded to servlet engine. In this way we can communicate our request in our server side application, so that a part of the web server called as a servlet engine, which loads the servlet class and also executes it. During the execution process, the servlet provides an output in HTML format. Due to that, output is always passed to the web server by servlet engine inside an HTML response. We know that whenever our web pages are executed, in that moment the HTTP response is always forwarded from our server side to client side application, means your server side application to your browser application. Next we can learn the web server forwards the HTTP response to your browser in terms of static HTML content. We know that if a user want to give any type of request or any type of request from your server side to your client side, means this type of request is known as a response. In that time we can take the help of HTTP response object. Finally, the web browser handles the dynamically generated HTML page inside our HTML response, exactly whatever happened in our JSP architecture. Just we can focus on that architecture. We have a client machine, and that client machine must forward a specific JSP request, or we can say servlet request, to a servlet, or we can say JSP container. In that container specially processed through that JSP page, and that JSP page is also forwarded to our generates a specific servlet class, or we can say servlet file. Then that servlet file is also forwarded to our hello servlet class. That means whenever your servlet code is executed, it can provide a class file. Then that class file is also forwarded to our server with the help of JSP container. In that moment our servlet code is processed. Due to that processing, you are getting a response from your server side applications, which are created in our 6th number step. Next we can learn the concept of JSP lifecycle. We know that whenever user want to create any type of dynamic web page, in that moment we can take the help of that JSP application. and that JSP application is most applicable in our real life, means any type of transaction movement application like business logic application and any type of dynamic preparation of our applications. Let us focus on that slide. The life cycle of JSP, the key to understanding the low level functionality of JSP is to understand the simple life cycle which are discussed in that points. We know that whenever we are learning any type of life cycle, we have some steps, but in our JSP life cycle we have generally 4 steps. We know that if you are learning any type of operating system process life cycle, first of all you can create a process, then your process will be forwarded to ready queue. Whenever you process in the ready queue, then it can process for running. After that running, if any type of interrupts are generated in that moment, that file forwarded to our waiting state. If you are getting any type of illegal activity in your program, then it is automatically forwarded to dead state, means terminate state. Let us focus on the slide. In your Servlet life cycle, also discussed in type of life cycles. In our server life cycle, or you can say in our JSP server page life cycle, we are learning the 4 steps. What are they? There is a compilation step, initialization step, execution step, then cleanup step. In that 4 steps are specially used to create that JSP application. This is a dynamic application, and what are the different points are related to this kind of Servlet life cycle. Let us we can discuss. First step known as a JSP compilation step. In that step, especially a web browser asks for a JSP, then the JSP engine first checks to see whether it needs to compile the page. If the page has never been compiled, or if the JSP has been modified since it was last compiled, so that the JSP engine compiles the page. Whenever your page is compiled, in that moment we are getting 3 steps, like just we can say there is a parsing step, turning step, next compiling step. That means first of all we can parse our JSP page from your client side to server side, then your JSP page is automatically turning, means converting to JSP state to Servlet state. Then whenever your state is converted, in that moment your Servlet code must be compiled. Whenever your Servlet code is compiled, in that moment we can find out a specific type of file that is known as class file. Then that class file is executed, finally we are getting a response. Next step we can learn JSP initialization step. In that step, especially we know that we have a container, JSP container. In that JSP container contains a specific type of method. That method is denoted as JSP init, means initialization method, which is written as JSP init method. With the help of that method, a user can easily provide any type of service, means they can provide their request in that init method to a specific type of application. But this init method also we have in our Servlet code, that is also known as only init method. In that init method is only related to Servlet file, but in our JSP application we can use JSP init method, because we know that the JSP page is also converted to Servlet file, means Servlet file is related to .java extension. In that moment that Servlet code is also converted to .class file, which are discussed in our init method. But that init method is not compulsory to use in our program, it is optional in nature. If a user want to initialize some values, then we can prefer this init method. Due to that initialization process, we are generally prefer to implement some JSP relevant applications in our web page. Let us focus on our slide. In that slide we can learn JSP execution. In this step generally is related to special most important feature which can help to process our JSP related code in our system. That means whenever you are writing any type of code, means execution code in our JSP page, in that moment that code must be processed through a specific type of method which are related to Servlet type, but not that fully related, but it is written in the term of JSP, that is known as _JSP service method. J should be small letter, S should be capital letter. With the help of that method we can easily process our request as well as response. That means this method must be declared like that, void underscore JSP service method. In that method we have two type of parameter, that is the request and response. That parameter can be created with the help of that class that is known as HTTP Sublet request class and HTTP Sublet response class. In that service method we are writing some statement, means JSP relevant statement which can special helps to process our request as well as our response. Next we can learn that is known as a JSP service method of a JSP is invoked on our request basis. That means every time that service method never executed, if a user want to process their request in their system, in that moment that JSP service method is generally executed. If a user want to forward any type of queries like want to open a page, want to close a page, want to process the next page, in that moment we can take the help of that service method, that means JSP service method, which is specially processed within our JSP execution life cycle. Next we can focus on the slide. Last step, that is known as JSP cleanup state. Then what is the meaning of that JSP cleanup step? We know that in our previous slide we are learning the JSP execution step, and if I consider the previous concept of sublet life cycle, also we have a destroy state. That means the cleanup state means our destroy our all reserved objects which are used in our program. That means in this step special helps to create a destruction fetch, or you can say destruction step of the JSP life cycle, represents when a JSP is being removed from use by a container. That means if a user want to delete some predefined or some used objects which are related to our JSP application, in that moment the user can take the help of that JSP destroy method. One thing I want to say you, if a user never use this JSP destroy method, in that moment some JSP pages are automatically invoked that JSP destroy method without externally writing. If a user want to make that JSP destroy method in our program, it must be written like that, public void JSP destroy method, and that JSP destroy method must be created in a sublet code, means your Java code, which is written like with some statement also we can write in that destroy method. That means actually if a user want to clean up that state, in that moment we never prefer to use that JSP cleanup state and never to use that JSP destroy method also. Okay, fine. Next slide we can discuss. The last but not least, what are the difference between JSP and sublet concept? We know that if a user want to create a JSP page, means a JSP is the HTML based code, but sublet is a Java relevant code. We know that whenever user want to create any type of JSP page, in that moment that JSP page must be created with the help of HTML code. That means HTML platform we can develop that JSP code, but the extension are totally different. In that moment whenever user want to create this JSP page, we must to use an extension like .jsp extension. If a user want to create any type of HTML relevant code, in that moment we can use that .html platform, but we are specially use that JSP platform, means it is specially is a JSP relevant code. Next we can learn the JSP is easy to code as it is Java in HTML, but in sublet is also preferred to create in our program, because whenever user want to create any type of sublet relevant code, there is no need to write any type of HTML related code. That means all type of HTML relevant code must be embedded in our Java code, which is specially processed in our sublet concept. But in our HTML concept we prefer to write Java code inside our HTML code. That means just you can integrate that JSP code, means Java relevant code, in our HTML format. It is so special application in our JSP. Next point we can discuss, like we know that the JSP is slower than sublet because the first step in JSP lifecycle, the translation of JSP to Java code, then we can compile it, but sublet is faster than JSP. We know that whenever a user want to process that JSP code is always translated from the source code to Servlet code. That means whenever user want to process that Servlet code, there is no intermediate translation needed to process it. That's why every type of Servlet code are automatically generated a class file, and it is more faster than our JSP application. But in our JSP application, that JSP application must be converted to Java code, means Servlet code, then our program will be processed in our system. Next point we can learn, whenever user want to create any type of JSP session management which are specially handled or enabled through a specific engine that is known as JSP engine, which is automatically activated or automatically enabled in our server. But in our Servlet concept, the Servlet by default session management is not enabled. User have to enable it explicitly. This is the most important point in our Servlet concept. Session means we are adding a specific type of session to handling some Java application or real-time applications implementation in our society. If we want to design an online examination form, in that moment we are adding a session feature. That means whenever user want to process their application or process their exam only within a specific time period, whenever that time period is lapsed, in that moment a session will be closed, which is a more dynamic feature in our server side application. But this type of session management is not automatically activated in our Servlet, but this feature is automatically activated in our JSP concept. Next point we can learn, generally the JSP specially implement lots of business logic to separate our presentation logic by using Java beans. But in our Servlet concept, we never implement this kind of business logic, but that business logic is specially implemented through a presentation logic, which is specially implemented in our system or implemented in our real-time application to forward our request from the client side to server side. Due to that business logic is more effective in the time of banking sector. We know that any type of internet banking process are specially handled by our Servlet or JSP concept, because it is a more secure platform through which you can process our monetary transactions in our web platform. And due to that, JSP concept provides lots of security features, as well as you can say lots of reliability, flexibility, platform independent, and robust and secure. That's why we prefer to use that JSP concept in our real life applications. Okay, finally, thank you.